Hi. So I finally finished this bookathon, and before I start in my wrap up, I want to thank Sharon, Paige, and Kayla, who were the hosts of Spookathon. It was wonderful. This was my first experience with the readathon, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I read five books. There were five challenges, and you could read as many books as you want as long as you fit at the challenges. But I decided to do five books, and I'm done. And it's day six now. It's the last day. It's almost, but it's midnight. So just wanted to shoot the video and get it over with. Otherwise, I knew I wouldn't be able to do it later on. I'll go in chronological order of how I started reading and what I rated them. So I started off with The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. And this is about a man who boards a flight with a strange woman, and they both decide to tell the truth to each other. And while having that discussion, he tells her that he's caught his wife cheating, and he's so upset that he just randomly says that I'm thinking of killing her, and she tells him why not, and they start planning the murder of his wife together. This was a mystery thriller, only around 300 pages. Um, I think it came out in 2013. This was a very interesting book. It had a lot of ups and downs, constant shocking moves. Highly recommended. People really liked it. I, however, gave it a 1.5. I think somewhere in the middle, it started to get a little convoluted for me, which I didn't appreciate. But it was full of shocks, full of was a page turner. So it was fun. The next book that I read was an old book. This came out in I believe 1934, and this is by James Gale. The Postman Always Rings Twice. Now I don't know how this happened, but this book is also about a spouse who's cheating on her husband, and the spouse and the lover decides to murder the husband. So it's from the other's perspective. It's a very short book. I believe it's only 116 pages, which was great. This also had a lot of interesting twists. It was the same story. So at the beginning, I was a little irritated that I had picked the same kind of mystery that I was reading previously, but it was dealt very differently. And the ending was again shocking. This was a good read as well, 3.5 out of 5. The next book that I read was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Now, even though the title says monster and there is a monster here, the book was less about the monster and was more about this child um, who has this recurring nightmare. And out of his nightmares comes a monster who sort of takes over him and helps him understand the truth behind his nightmare. In reality, he's also facing something very difficult a 13-year-old boy should not be facing. Um, uh, his mother is dying, and he has to come to terms with the fact that her illness is taking over her. This was a very emotional read for me, and even after picking up the book, even halfway through the book, I didn't think I could finish it. It was not what I expected, not what I wanted from a spookathon, but it really spooked me. This is like my worst nightmare. I have kids, and I'm personally going through a lot of issues, and I never thought that I would be able to read this book, but it was such a good, fresh perspective to see it coming from a small boy and how he visualizes illnesses and sees his mother, the most important person in his life, go through this. It was a very interesting book. There were parts which I thought were a little ridiculous, but then this is for middle graders, it's not for adults. In that way, I would say it's a beautifully written book. And based on all of this information, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Next, and it has a lot of illustrations in the middle, which I was showing my 6 years old, and he thought it was very creepy, but just to give you an idea, things like this, which is quite scary. Yeah, a very beautiful book. Then I read The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. This is also a very short book. It's only 62 pages. And the reason I picked it up was because Gillian Flynn is a writer very well known for Gone Girl, and I wanted to start reading, at least just get in touch with her. It's a very interesting story. But I guess somewhere I felt that 62 pages was a little less for it. I was happy I had something really thin to read for this readathon, because then I could get over it fast. Um, and the storyline, the premise, the way she took it up, all the characters and how she drove them forward was very interesting to me. But I feel that 62 pages is very less for the story. So because of that, it didn't get a very high rating. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Um, I was thinking 2.5 to 3 out of 5 because that. The last book that I read, and I kept it for the end because this is a 2016 release and a very, very recent release. And I was so excited about this book. But this is by Emma Donoghue. I've never read Emma Donoghue before, but everyone's heard of Room, which got the Best Screenplay Award for in the Oscars, and it was Room was awarded so many literary awards as well. The Wonder, it has such an interesting story. So, The Wonder is actually set in the 1890s. It's about this nurse who's gone to observe whether a child whose family is saying that she has been keeping a fast for 4 months is for real or not. When she reaches there, she meets this child and she realizes that there is some weird going on over there, and she becomes part of it. And then the decision is whether she should remain in the role of an observer for which she was hired, or whether she should intercept and act like a nurse, for which she's gotten her training and for which she has taken her vow for life. It's just beautiful. The twist, the plot, the story, the beginning, the idea, everything is so wonderfully done. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was such a good book. And by the end of it, there were so many shocking moments. It was just the the use of history, religion, poverty, um, feminist issues, and the way the writer has made use of the setting in 1890 is beautiful. The whole idea of starvation, and what does that really mean? Is it a device to kill oneself, or is it a device to show whether you are strong and capable and can abstain from bad things? What does that mean? It's the whole idea behind this is so wonderful. It was such a good book. And I rated it a 4.5. Really, really enjoyed it. And yeah. So once again, thank you, Sharon, Paige, and Kayla. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed this bookathon, and I'm also glad that I'm done because I need to get back to my books that I was had put on hold because of this bookathon. But this was great fun, and yeah, thank you.